many things affect your life as much as slow traffic and bad weather? Listen tomorrow morning for Traffic and Weather Together every 10 minutes on the 9s on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back into Cougar Nation, sponsored by Central Bank. We're taking your calls up until 7 p.m., 801-575-8255. Chime in on the win, chime in on the atmosphere, or you can answer our question of the day. How have your expectations changed after the win against Kansas State? You can text us as well, 575-00-8381. This is their answer to our question, Mitch. I originally thought that they would go 5-7 this year. That was my preseason prediction as well. Missing out on a bowl game, 5-7, and yet here they are 4-0 after the first 4 games. Now I think they might go 8-4, 9-4. I'm kind of there with them because you look at the last couple games of this of the schedule, it got soft at the end of the schedule, Mitch. Kansas at home, that should be an easy win. At Arizona State, that's a little harder than initially appeared, but it's still a very winnable game. And then you finish out the year with Houston, which is the absolute seller of the Big 12. They're no good. Yep. So right there, you're at a bowl game. Like, I think this win against Kansas State has recalibrated my expectations. When you beat a team as handily as you did against Kansas State, the expectations have to change. Now you're a good football team. You need to go forward and win games and act like a good football team. And that's going to be the challenge for them going forward is, can they win a game like they have this Saturday against Baylor? Can they hold serve at home against middle-of-the-road Big 12 teams? If they can, then maybe a special season is in order, but definitely expectations have changed.
No question. And I will say, though, I could see BYU losing the next 5, but I could also see them winning the next 5. You know, BYU is in a spot here where this week at Baylor will be critical for the trajectory to me because BYU has shown many times under Kalani that they can win a one-time top 25 game.
Right.
Big setup, September. They can do that. I think what gives me more confidence, though, for this group to maintain the success is that there's more depth this year, particularly on the defensive side, but also offensively. You got to give credit to the running back situation. I was harping on it. I was saying, why did you not get a transfer portal running back? Are you kidding me? Sione Aimoa was a stud, and no one saw that coming. And look, Kalani was telling us. I mean, I remember at Big 12 Media Day, he ran through the itemized list and gave us all the running backs and broke it down to us. And I thought, okay, I'll store that away and think about that running back unit down the road. But I didn't think Sione Aimoa would be big time against K-State in a marquee spot, late night, throwback uniforms, biggest crowd in 15 years, and he delivers. That's great to see. BYU's depth is much better spot than anyone gave them credit for coming into the year. And I think their top 22, 11 on offense, 11 on defense, are much better as well. I love what's happening with the offensive and defensive lines. BYU's in a good place. It's just now following it up because I think Cougar fans have this fear that, okay, now when the expectations start building, when's the fall going to happen? And look, maybe that's just Cougar fans getting worried and this and that, but look, we've always talked about how being an underdog at BYU, that's a great space to live in. It's now being, an expected to perform and deliver. How do you respond to that environment?
That's a good point, and that's why this Saturday's game, which we'll break down a little later in the show, is so interesting because we're going to learn a lot about this BYU football team. If they pass this test, which is kind of a trapped game, it's at a weird time, then you can really start to dream up what could be a special season. Let's get back to the text. There's plenty of text flowing in. You can call us as well, 801-575-8255. How have your expectations changed after the win against Kansas State? I like this text here. This is from 0195. Defensively, we are phenomenal. We are 4-0 because of our defense. Stopping the 2 best teams we've played so far from even scoring a touchdown, that's incredible. You can't ask for more than that. My expectations are for the offense, though, to move the ball all the way down the field and not only be able to score when our defense only makes it so you have to go 35 to 40 yards down the field. I think there is some unnecessary trepidation towards the offense today. There's still a lot of text, Mitch, coming through. I don't trust the O. I don't trust A-Rod. I don't trust Retzlaff. What do these guys have to do? They did everything they needed to do in this game to put themselves in a position to win. Even late in the game, they put together that drive, that phenomenal touchdown run from Sione Iamoa, breaking tackles, punches it in. They took care of the ball. They were explosive at times. They've shown ways to win different games. Even at Wyoming, you have that early turnover, doesn't slow them down. They just keep pushing the ball down the field. They put up the points. Against SMU, it was rough, but they got the job done when it mattered. I get that all the spotlight's on the defense, and rightfully so because they're playing great football, but this isn't like 2012 where the defense was great and the offense stunk. The offense is doing enough to win you games right now, and let's celebrate that. Let's enjoy that because we've sat through some bad offenses. I don't think this is a bad offense. Is there room to improve? Sure, of course there is, but let's not act like these guys are bottom 10 in college football. They're in the middle of the pack, and that works for now.
I think just Cougar fans are probably looking at this and saying if the expectations are changing, well, you got to have leveled up quarterback play, and that's
it was leveled up.
No, I think it was fine. I thought Jake was fine. He did everything he was asked to do. I'm not knocking. I'm just trying to get into the mind of Cougar Nation on those comments because if we are going to change the expectations for this team and expect more than just simply 6, that does need to continue and improve. And I think that's why you see coaches always like, okay, he managed it well, great, but we always need to keep getting better. And I think that's naturally the expectation. But I thought Jake did a solid job. I thought he did a really good job. And I think Kalani put it best that he did a really good job managing the offense last week. And I thought the wide receivers showed well. I mean, Chase Roberts on that special play. Jake takes the big hit in the pocket, takes it from a Kansas State defender. Chase goes up and makes a big grab. I mean, that was a huge play. So BYU has been opportunistic, and they took care of the football too. I always love when BYU doesn't cough up the ball. They're going to win a lot of ball games. You know, Kalani's teams, when they are plus in the turnover margin, that's a good sign for the Cougars. So there's good things right now for BYU as they get ready for the Baylor Bears, and the texts keep coming in, Matt. 71-23. I still love the defense. They play with heart and attitude. I still don't trust the offense and play calling. Okay, that's fair. We'll see. And look, I think this week will be a great barometer to see, and that's what I love about being a power conference is that there's no gimmies. They're all going to be tough. BYU's an underdog going into the Baylor game, oddly enough.
3-point underdog right now, which is sort of crazy because I don't think this Baylor team is very good. If they win this game, and this to me is the definition of a trap game, Mitch, because Baylor is not very good. They got killed by Utah earlier in the year. I know they made a quarterback change, but this is a very winnable game. Great teams win these type of football games. Let's see what happens. If they win this, they're in a great position because you look at that schedule, man. Oklahoma State is beatable. Arizona is beatable. We already talked about the last part of the schedule. There's only 2 tough games left, Utah and UCF. So it's getting very interesting. We got to take a break, though. On the other side, we'll get to what's trending and more of your calls here on Cougar Nation.